The NASCAR Cup Series race concludes from Circuit Americas and looked like it was going to be an organic field strategy victory. Turns out to be a crazy overtime, ending with 3 overtimes and Tyler Reddick picking up his first victory of the 2023 season. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. I just got done watching NASCAR Cup Series race from Circuit Americas, the Echo Park GP. We got quite a bit to talk about from the race, including the race format, among other things. Let's go ahead and talk about it. So, before the green flag drop in today's race, Michael McDowell, was the only driver, had to start at the rear of the field due to unapproved adjustments. So, at the start of the race, you have William Byron lead the field from the inside, with Tyler Reddick on the outside, and William Byron was able to get the race lead and led. Then going into turn number 19, the first caution will come out lap number 2 for contact between Brad Keselowski, because Chris Buescher moved up the racetrack and spun out. Then Brad Keselowski ended up spinning out and unfortunately collected Ty Dillon and collected Jimmy Johnson. This unfortunately took Ty Dillon and Jimmy Johnson out of the race. Tough break for Ty Dillon and Jimmy Johnson, just nowhere to go in a situation, just innocent bystanders, and nothing they could do. They unfortunately fell out of the race. So on the next restart, you had William Byron lead the field from the inside with Tyler Reddick on the outside, and William Byron was able to get the race lead from Tyler Reddick and started to pull away. There was a lot of stuff that started happening, though. You had Jordan Taylor, who was making his NASCAR Cup Series debut. He locked the front wheels up. Then he had Chase Briscoe, a lap later, end up spinning off some contact from Justin Haley. Joey Logano also got penalized for cutting the course. Then the next lap, you had Denny Hamlin and Corey LaJoie also both get penalized for cutting the course as well. And eventually, we saw Tyler Reddick actually get around Austin Cindric, because Austin Cindric actually got the race lead eventually and took the race lead, but then Reddick was eventually able to get around, take the race lead. Then on lap number 11, we would see trouble strike on lap 11 of the race, where Bubba Wallace had, unfortunately, a brake failure on his car and just ran into Kyle Larson. Unfortunately, also collected Eric Jones in the incident as well. Nothing Bubba Wallace could do in that situation, nothing Kyle Larson could do. It was unintentional, in my honest opinion. Basically, it was just something, unfortunately, a brake failure for Bubba. It's a shame, too, because Bubba Wallace having a really strong run early, one of his best road course races he's had up to the point, and unfortunately had a brake failure and it collected Kyle Larson. Then, as they were coming down to pit road, Bubba's coming to pit road, Kyle Larson got turned by Denny Hamlin coming to turn, and that brought the caution out. Just an unintentional mistake, and just an unfortunate situation. So then all leaders end up coming down pit road, with Tyler Reddick actually pitting from the lead. But actually, a lot of drivers decided to stay out, and William Byron, as they were coming back during lap 15, because remember, there's no stage cautions in this race, William Byron come off the corner and win stage 1 on the restart with him having the lead. Then we have William Byron have the lead for a few laps, and then Brad Keselowski spun off in turn number 12 after contact from Ryan Blaney, and also Ryan Blaney up spinning off after some contact with Kyle Larson, and Blaney had a flat right rear tire. The race would stay green for a very long time. First, you have Kyle Busch, Ryan Preece, Todd Gilliland come in. Then Ty Gibbs came in. Then Christopher Martrix Jr. Then Austin Cindric, Alex Bowman-Ross saying the next lap came in. Austin Cindric had a bad pit stop. And then eventually, William Byron had the race lead. And then he came down pit road as well. And then eventually, that handed Tyler Reddick back the race lead. And then everyone else came down pit road. At this point, some stayed out at the time, and Tyler Reddick would dominate, and he would win stage number 2 here at Circuit of the Americas. And then the next lap, most of the drivers that had not come to pit road for a while, they came down pit road, including Chase Briscoe, Noah Gragson, Kyle Larson, Chase Briscoe, and Michael McDowell. And then, of course, we saw Kyle Larson, unfortunately, get penalized for speeding on pit road, and then eventually Tyler Reddick came to pit road from the race lead at the time, meaning that William Byron once again get back to the race lead. Then we saw Ty Gibbs get a penalty for cutting the course once again, and then eventually Tyler Reddick was so fast, he got up there and was so much more faster on tires that with around 30 laps to go, we saw Tyler Reddick eventually pass William Byron for the race lead. After even making an extra pit stop, he took the race lead. Then, on lap 41, we'd have a caution come out due to debris on the racetrack. A couple spins had actually been happening at the time. Cristobal first, then Denny Hamlin spun out, and there was a lot of dirt on the racetrack and sand on the racetrack, bringing out the caution for Denny Hamlin spinning with the debris on the track. We saw a little bit of strategy where Joey Logano actually decided to stay out while the rest leaders came down pit road, and AJ Allmendinger, who had been a contender, had a terrible pit stop. So on the restart, you had a couple guys stay out, that being Joey Logano, Harrison Burton, Cody Ware, and Reddick was 4th on the restart. So on the restart, Joey Logano got a really strong restart and was able to clear for the race lead. And then eventually we saw Tyler Reddick overshoot the corner, and actually William Byron got a great restart, and he took the lead. And then eventually Tyler Reddick got it back around Ross Chastain, who got the second time, and he got the lead. Then we saw some great racing going on here between William Byron and Tyler Reddick for about 3 or 4 laps. For one lap, you had Reddick leading, then Byron leading, back and forth. Great racing, side by side. And it then came down to field strategy because those guys didn't know if they were going to be able to make it on field. And then with 50 laps to go, the first move really actually continued going for a long time. Kyle Larson actually, unfortunately, had a broken toe link at the time it came down pit road and had to come down pit road during the green flag. Then we saw Tyler Reddick and William Byron. They basically decided to stay out a little bit, basically continue, and they were trying to see if they could make it at the end because this was starting to become a field strategy race at the time, and they were slowing it down. Then, Kyle Busch would be the first driver to actually make the move to pit road. They didn't get the field filled up enough, and they came to pit road with 16 laps to go, thinking that this would be it. And then Denny Hamlin came down pit road, and then it looked like it was going to be a field strategy race. And then Brad Keselowski, who'd been kind of a frustrating driver all day, he would bring the caution out with 12 laps to go due to slowing and stopping in turn number 7, which is a tough break there, and that brought the caution out. Because of this, a couple drivers who actually had pitted stayed out, that being Christopher Bell, Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, Kimi Räikkönen. They would all stay out while the rest leaders came down pit road. Then we saw Ross Chastain drop a ton of positions from 3rd to 15th. So on the restart with about 7 or 8 laps to go, you had Christopher Bell lead the field from the inside and Kyle Busch on the outside, and we saw Kyle Busch get a really strong restart, but then Tyler Reddick go in the corner. He got a fantastic restart and took the lead in turn 2. But then contact was happening up in turn number 1. You had basically Kimi Räikkönen go to 4th from the outside. Then you had a bunch of guys end up wrecking. Austin Dillon, Ross Chastain, and AJ Allmendinger all ended up wrecking up in turn number 2. A ton of really strong cars throughout the day ended up getting involved, and a caution would come out for Ross Chastain. Then, with technically 7 laps to go, you had Tyler Reddick lead the field from the inside, with Chris Bell back on the inside, and we saw Tyler Reddick get the race lead and start pulling away. And then it basically at the time became a 2-man horse race between Tyler Reddick and William Byron, with Kyle Busch chasing in 3rd. And then, they started battling really, really hard. William Byron actually got a better restart, but Reddick got back around and got to the race lead. And then, with 4 laps to go in this race, what was looking like to be a great finish between William Byron and Tyler Reddick, a caution would come out for debris coming off the back of Austin Dillon's car. There was true debris coming off that car, bringing out the caution for tire debris. Because of this, we'd have the first overtime restart, where Tyler Reddick lead the field from the inside, with William Byron on the outside, and Reddick got a good restart there. And then William Byron actually got wide, and Kyle Busch actually got to the inside and was battling for the lead on Tyler Reddick. But then in turn number 1, another caution would come out for debris off the back of Ryan Blaney's car, and fluid from Ryan Preece, who was dropping fluid all across the racetrack, would have destroyed a race car as they're coming back to the white flag as multiple cars spun. Then we go back to racing on the second overtime restart, where Tyler Reddick leading the field from the inside, with William Byron on the outside and Kyle Busch in 3rd, and a really strong restart from Kyle Busch once again, but Reddick got a good restart as well. And then Mark Truex Jr. and Daniel Suarez spun in turn number 1, and a bunch of cars started wrecking again. You had a lot of cars end up wrecking and spinning, and then Daniel Suarez, who basically had a tire down from the contact up in turn number 1, were bringing the caution out. So on the final restart of the race in the 3rd overtime, you had Tyler Reddick lead the field from the inside with Alex Bowman on the outside and Kyle Busch in 3rd. And Alex Bowman got a really, really strong turn number 1 and actually got to the race lead. Meanwhile, there was a lot of cars end up wrecking in turn number 1. Joey Logano, Christopher Bell, Daniel Suarez, and Eric Almirola. And we thought again that there was going to be a caution for that, but there would not be a caution for that. And eventually, Bowman actually challenged Reddick for the race lead going into turn number 11, but Reddick was able to hang on and start pulling away, and Kyle Busch got up to 2nd. As they're coming to the white flag, Kyle Busch is battling Alex Bowman for 2nd, eventually pulled away enough, though, to where it wasn't going to be a factor. And as they're coming off the final corner, Tyler Reddick puts up a really, really strong and dominating clinic, holds off on the final restarts of this race, and picks up his first win of the 2023 season, holding off the rest of the field after all the crazy restarts, and Tyler Reddick picks up his first victory of 2023. Man, what a race for Tyler Reddick. Absolutely, in my opinion, a well-deserved victory. Reddick absolutely had the best car, in my opinion. He did have some challenges from guys like Kyle Busch and William Byron throughout the day, but in my opinion, a well-deserved victory for Tyler Reddick. The first, I think, of many wins for Tyler Reddick this season. That 45 was the best car all weekend. It was the fastest in practice, second fastest in qualifying, led 47, I think like 48 or 47 of the 71 or 72 laps of this race, which is extremely impressive. Congratulations to Tyler Reddick. I'm so happy at one of these road course races. The best driver can get it done. We know how good of a road course racer Reddick is, and a well-deserved win for Tyler Reddick. I think Reddick's going to win a lot of races. The last 2 weeks he's been really starting to show up. He's been good the last 2 weeks, and a well-deserved win for Tyler Reddick. So congratulations to Tyler Reddick on getting his first win with the Monster Energy colors and winning his first race of 2023 and his 4th career Cup Series victory and his 3rd road course victory. So congratulations to Tyler Reddick. So now we're going to go take a look at the results of today's race, and I'll give you my score and talk about the format of the race with the stage cautions. So Tyler Reddick picks up the victory. Kyle Busch finished second. Great run from Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch probably had the third or fourth best car most of the day, but he got a great restart, got some good strategy, was up front a lot of the day. Wasn't as good as Tyler Reddick or even William Byron throughout the day, but a great run nonetheless for Kyle Busch, his second top 5 of the year. Kyle Busch has been picking up top 5s and top 10s, his second top 10 at 5 of the year, like I mentioned. Great run for Kyle Busch in second with the net spin colors. He did test at COTA earlier this year, off season, I should say. Had a great run in the truck race as well, but a great run nonetheless for Kyle Busch. He finishes second. Alex Bowman finishes third, picking up and putting down a lot of great finishes. I think Bowman now is probably back in the playoff contention, even with 100-point penalty. A fantastic run from Alex Bowman today. Ran top 10 a lot of the day against a well-deserved top 5 finish. Great run from Alex Bowman, who I believe finished second last year, so another fantastic run for Alex Bowman. Ross Chastain finishes fourth. Great comeback for Ross Chastain. Chastain definitely was a really strong contender near the end of the race. Was probably the third best car near the end, but a fantastic run for Chastain, who came back from that issues. He gets a really strong top 5 finish. William Byron finishes fifth. I think William Byron had the best car outside of Tyler Reddick, but a great run for William Byron nonetheless. I think William Byron is truly a championship contender. I think he had a better car a lot of times on the restarts than Tyler Reddick, but I don't think he had as good of a car as Tyler Reddick did, but still a great day for William Byron nonetheless. He finishes fifth. How about Austin Cindric finishing sixth? You know, Cindric in the beginning of the race, he was a contender, but he got off strategy a little bit, off sequence, and never recovered, but near the end of the day, he does recover to 6th place finish. Really strong run for Austin Cindric. How about Ricky Stenhouse Jr. finishing 7th? I know there was a lot of chaos near the end to help Stenhouse, but still, to get a top 10 finish, a guy who's not historically been great on road courses. Great finisher, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Chris Buescher finishes 8th. Solid run for Chris Buescher. He was really strong on road courses last year. Struggled at the beginning of the race, but near the end was running near the top 10 area. Solid finish for Chris Buescher. Ty Gibbs finishes 9th. Genuinely, Ty Gibbs ran a really good race, in my opinion. Ran top 10 a lot of the day. That 54 car looked pretty solid. And Ty Gibbs is really starting to have some good finishes. Back-to-back top 10 finishes for Ty Gibbs. Great to see that. How about Todd Gilliland finishing 10th? That's Todd's first top 10 of the 2023 season, I believe. Todd Gilliland, a great run for him. He's been good at road course in the past, and a good run for Todd Gilliland in 10th place. How about Corey LaJoie finishing 11th? Corey LaJoie at one point was 2 laps down in this race and bounces back to finish 11th. Incredible comeback for Corey LaJoie in 11th. Michael McDowell finishes 12th. McDowell did have some contact. He was in the top 10 near the end of the race. Fortunately, got involved in one of the late race incidents near the end, but still the finish in the top 15. Solid run for Michael McDowell. Kevin Harvick finishes 13th. Not a bad run for Kevin Harvick. How about Kyle Larson finishing 14th? Considering that he had a broken toe link, got hit by Bubba Wallace after brake issues, spun out, got contact from Denny Hamlin, had a speeding penalty. To finish 14th, incredible comeback for Larson. I know he had some cautions to help him out, but still a fantastic comeback for Kyle Larson to finish 14th. Going to help him in the points position nonetheless. He got some stage points too, so hey, he's going to come out of this day with a solid finish nonetheless. 14th, he'll definitely take that. Chase Briscoe finishes 15th, not a bad run. Denny Hamlin finishes 16th despite the issues. Solid comeback for Denny Hamlin. Mark Truex Jr., who unfortunately spun out on the second to last restart, does recover a little bit. 17th, he was run top 5 near the end. What a shame for Mark Truex Jr. Jenson Button finishes 18th, the highest finishing road ringer of the day. Who would have thought that would happen? Jenson Button kept his nose clean a lot of the day and finished top 20 his NASCAR Cup Series debut. You'll love to see it. Very happy for Jenson Button to get a top 20 finish. Justin Haley finishes in 19th. That should help him almost get over the positive points. I think he's still in the negative points still, but 19th, not a bad run. Noah Gragson finished 20th, but a lot of the day was running in the top 15, so could have finished a little bit better, but 20th nonetheless. I think it's the second consecutive top 20 finish, so solid run for Noah Gragson. Ryan Blaney finishes 21st. Harrison Burns finishes 22nd. Eric Jones finishes 23rd. Ran a really good early. I don't know what happened to Eric Jones. Jordan Taylor finished 24th. Man, I thought Jordan Taylor was going to have a better run today. It's a shame for Jordan Taylor, too, because I think that his car just was not set up throughout the race. They struggled throughout the day, could never get up front. They seem like they're having radio communication issues as well. I thought he was going to be a threat to win, but to finish 24th, substituting for Chase Elliott, it is what it is. I hope he gets another opportunity in a Cup car down the road because he deserves an opportunity, a Cup car going down the road. It's a shame he couldn't run better. He unfortunately finishes 24th. Cody Ware finished 25th. Not bad, all things considered, for the Rick Ware team. Josh Bleeky finished 26th. Daniel Suarez, who I was a contender for the win, and if that race would have stayed green on field strategy, I think he could have won this race. He finished 27th. It's a shame he was my pick coming into the weekend. There was a lot of chaos near the end, cost him an opportunity, and it's really sad to see that he finished 27th. Joey Logano finishes 28th, goes from winning last week in Atlanta to finishing 28th. Things can happen one week after the other. Kimi Räikkönen finishes 29th. Kimi Räikkönen was in the top 5 near the end of the race on one of the later cautions, but unfortunately had some damage, got wrecked near the end of the race, and sadly finished 29th. I hope he gets to run some more NASCAR races, though. Eric Almirola finishes 30th. Eric Almirola's terrible season continues for him. Eric Almirola's had a terrible start. He's only had, I think, one top 20 finish so far this season in the 6 races we've ran. Just not a good start to the year for Eric Almirola. Christopher, unfortunately, after getting wrecked out, he finishes 31st. Ryan Preece has had a terrible start to 2023, just tough luck for him. He finishes 32nd. Austin Dillon finishes 33rd, tough break for him. AJ Allmendinger finishes 34th. Allmendinger had a top 5 car, a lot of them, unfortunately, in that caution with Chastain, ended up wrecking out of the race. Tough break for him. Brad Keselowski finishes 35th. He's probably just ready to go the next week at Richmond, let's be honest. Connor Daly finishes 36th. Bubba Wallace, who could have been a contender for maybe a top 10 finish today, finishes 37th after his brake issues. Jimmy Johnson finishes in 38th position. Again, Jimmy Johnson just has not caught a break since coming back to NASCAR. Couldn't even complete a lap. Frustrating day for Jimmy. And Ty Dillon finishes last in 39th place. So now, let's talk about the overall race as a whole and give you my score for today's race. I would say, until the final 12 or 11 laps of the race, this race was playing out naturally, really, really fun. I enjoyed it. Yes, Tyler Reddick at points had a massive, massive lead, but I really enjoyed the great, naturally played out racing. Because remember, there were no stage cautions in the race today. And I absolutely enjoyed the natural flow of the race today. It was fun to watch. I absolutely really loved that. The ending of the race during the last 10 or 11 laps, especially in those final few restarts, the racing etiquette went out the window. It's not the racetrack, it's the racing etiquette. These drivers near the end of these races don't give a crap. And it's frustrating to watch because we saw a really great natural race going between William Byron and Tyler Reddick, and these drivers in the mid to back of the pack just don't care. They wreck each other, they race each other really, really bad, and it's very frustrating to watch as a fan. And the racing etiquette on these road courses has to get better. I wonder if NASCAR could institute a contact penalty if you keep having incessant contact or bringing out cautions like Brad Keselowski brought out like 2 or 3 yellows today, which is really, really frustrating. Still, though, for a road course race, I really enjoyed it, and so one of my more favorite races of the year. My score of today's NASCAR Cup Series race at COTA, I'm going to give this race overall an 8 out of 10. This wasn't as good as Daytona 500 or Auto Club, but I really enjoyed it. If this race would have not had all those cautions near the end, I'll actually give it an 8.5. This race would have been a 9 out of 10 for me. The overtime hurt my score just a little bit, but I still enjoyed it. And now we talk about stage cautions. Get rid of them all together. Stage cautions need to go all together for every type of track. We're finding out, and I think the drivers are going to agree with me on this, the stage cautions ruin the flow of racing, and you get races done a lot quicker. Yes, it took a little longer because the overtime finishes, but that naturally happened. In my opinion, overtimes need to change too. But overtime, the stage cautions need to go away completely, and I hope that they can change that even this year in 2023. Don't wait for 2024, change it in 2023. I enjoyed today's race, and it was more natural and more flowing. So, that is for today's NASCAR Cup Series race review from Circuit of the Americas. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe to the channel, notifications on so you notified when a video does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Links are below with that, and comment below your thoughts below on today's race. What are your thoughts on today's race? Let me know below. Let me know your score in the comments below, and congratulate Tyler Reddick on picking up his first victory of the 2023 season. Tomorrow on the channel, we're going to likely have a NASCAR news video on the channel. There's been some news that's kind of come out over the last couple days. Then on Tuesday, we're going to have the entry list for the race at Richmond. We'll also have the truck. We'll also have the Xfinity Series picks maybe coming out Monday as well. I'm thinking about moving the Xfinity Series picks up to Monday and maybe having the Cup picks maybe come out Tuesday, honestly. I'll have to wait and see with my schedule. We'll have to wait and see what happens. So anyways, like I said, actually we'll have the truck picks for Texas because Texas is this weekend for trucks. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for some more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.